Okay, so according to this, it is in fact streaming. Waiting. I see an excellent connection there. Twitch claims it is going. Switch this to a live chat. Okay. I'm waiting for the stats to come up, but this appears to be working, so I'll get a drink of water right now. All right. Okay, I'm just waiting for this. I mean, everything's... Okay, there we go. Got a number. Once the number comes up, I am fairly confident it is working. All right, so let me hit enter. And enter. And enter. Oh, sorry. Enter. Where? Did I hit enter on this one? Enter. The amount of things I have to hit enter on to make this stuff work is crazy. Enter. 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 I think, what, one more maybe? Oh, I already did that one. Okay, I can close Discord. Discord is done. Okay, everything appears to be stable. The microphone is picking up. Hey, Faint Waves! All right, man, this thing is working. I am good. Well, you know, I wonder if I can. I wonder if I can make the chat appear. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it for this stream. Well, at least it's all I care about is it's working. There probably is a way to add these chat windows in so that people can actually see them, but I don't know that I have the skill to do it. So you know what? It's a miracle enough that I have two simultaneous streams running.
You've got mail, man.
Sorry, that the chat windows are actually working. Oh, it's me. It's my email saying, "Hey, you're live on YouTube." So that's a good sign because I got the Twitch chat from Faint Waves, meaning that's working. And I just got an email saying I went live on YouTube, so I know that's working, which lines up with everything that the system is saying. So knock on whatever magical thing you've got nearby, this appears to be running as expected. Holy crap! So let's go ahead and silence my phone for an hour. Okay, so now, oh, I forgot. I got one thing, which is to post on Blue Sky. Done. And to post on Twix. Done. And I believe that's everywhere that I need to post anything. Oh, I have to repost from the show account. All right, excellent. Faint Waves, can you see that reply? Is the reply working so that you can see it? Or is it not working? So far, everything's working, so I'm just verifying that you actually saw what I typed. Because according to what the system's showing me, you should have. But I know better than to trust that. So I will turn... I don't need my keyboard. Oh. I might need my keyboard. Yes, I can see it. Okay, excellent. You know what I'm going to do? I'll leave my keyboard turned off so that I can lay the iPad on it. That'll work. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get going here. Play our little intro bit. And I believe I have everything else set the way it needs to be. The mouse can stay right there. I'm going to move this over a little so that I have... Sorry if the noise is a lot. It's a little weird with the keyboard there. Okay, so you can see that. You know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my phone here. I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to move the keyboard up onto the top of the laptop. That will not hurt anything, and I'll still be able to type if I need to. But then I can move this over, and I can place the iPad on it in a secure area. Okay, and I can see both chats. Got the live chat running. Excellent, excellent. I don't know participants. Okay, good. And then what does this say? I'm curious now. Hold on. Users in chat. Okay, so it does see, it shows you in 4 bots. I really don't like the fact that I think Twitch populates their chat with bogus viewers or whatever that is. I don't like it. That's whatever that is, it's not accurate and I don't like it, but it's working, so I'm going to shut up. All right, so here we are. So, you know what? Didn't I have a thing where, oh, that's the background. Didn't I have a way to, you know what? I'm not going to overcomplicate this. It's working, so whatever. So anyway, we are, what you're looking at here is my Shodan image, which I feel like I've been working on for 4,000 years because there's so much into this thing. But I actually don't know how long it is, but the time lapse on this, I was joking about this with somebody on, I don't even remember, Blue Sky or Twix, and I was joking because they'd say, wow, it looks really great. And I'm like, the time lapse on this is gonna be probably the longest time lapse possibly that I've ever had. I mean, it's still gonna be short because it'll be sped up, but it's gonna be long because I've been working on this thing for so long. In fact, I don't know, does the canvas info say when it started? Date created March. Wait, no, that's because that's the new one. Hold on, sorry, that's not accurate. Hold on, let me look at this one. When was this one created? Now, of course, I've got like 4 versions of this thing. No, that's not right either. Hold on, where's the original? The original is down here, maybe? Is this the original? July 18th of 2023. That feels right. So this thing is August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. We're at about 8 months in on this image. Yeah, that makes sense. That feels about right. Okay. Wait, where's the one without the stuff turned on? There it is. This is the 4th version of this. Yeah. Well, because originally it was started off as just a square image, and I did a bunch of work, and then I realized I wanted to make it a lot bigger. So this canvas size is 18 by 22, printable. So this can be printed at 18 by 22 with no loss of quality, or at least minimal. So yeah. I have been doing this for a while. And the stupid part, here's what I did today. This is one of those things that I assume every creative person, whatever your field, music, writing, visual arts, whatever. Literally late yesterday, Wednesday night, I was looking at this, and I had done a couple, like the glows. I was doing the glows in Photoshop because Procreate really wasn't handling the glow stuff correctly, and in fact, it still kind of isn't, because I gotta erase that. I don't want the glow to bleed in. In fact, I'm glad I saw that. I do not want the glow bleeding past the eye. See, I want that glow contained, so I'm actually kind of glad I saw that. I just don't want it there. I want it contained. Anyway, it's fine in there. So I thought, oh wow, I'm finally, because I had done the colors. So I had all the colors, and I did the glow lines, and I had the glows on the little blinking LEDs here. So I went, oh yeah, okay, I've got it. In fact, I have to, speaking of those glows, I've got to get rid of those too. That one glow is not right, which is, where are the dots? There, this. I do not want that glow, should not be bleeding into the green. The green is supposed to supersede everything, so I gotta get rid of that anywhere I see it, which is probably in a few spots. So I'm just gonna erase that and make sure I'm erasing right. Yes, I am. Any place that overwrites the green, it has to go. So I looked at this, I got the glows into place, and I thought, that's it. I've finally arrived at the end of this image. Finally arrived at the end of it, right? That's what my stupid brain thought. And then, hold on. Right, so this is how I looked at it. And I'm like, okay, I've got, see, that's got to go. That should not be on that. This is a higher up cable. So I have to clean that up. See, higher cables, or cables in the front, should not be having the glow on them. And the green is the very top, so that can't have any glow on it either. Glow from the face, yes, but not from the LEDs. So anyway, I looked at it yesterday, and I said, okay. And I knew I'd have to do stuff like this, like cleanup. I thought, okay, I got to do some cleanup, minor stuff. That's fine. You expect to do that after the fact. But I thought, okay, this is basically done. I've basically arrived at the end of this image, however many months later. I hadn't looked at the dates or anything like that, but I know I've been working on this for a while. So I thought, yeah, okay, finally this thing is done. And I can actually put it into the Threadless store. I can buy it on a shirt, because I'll buy it on my shirt. I like this image. So you saw it the way this was. And I thought I was done. And then, for whatever reason, earlier this morning, I was looking at it, and I thought, maybe I should just, pull up an airbrush and digitally, of course. And let me see how it looks if I add a little bit of shading to the cables, right? Just to see what it looks like. So I added this. And it's not like that's a huge difference, but once I saw it, I liked it. And I went, oh no. Now I'm going to have to go in, and on most of the cables, I'm going to have to now put all of these lines in. So you see how little I've done here. Just these so far with that line. And I'm not worried about them being perfect. Like you can see those aren't really even. That's okay. It's something like this doesn't require perfection that way. But I'm sitting here going, I'm going to have to do this on, I don't know. I'm going to guess just looking at this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Because I'm going to do it on the big cables. So that's basically, I don't know, there might be 100 that I'm going to have to do. And I know I have to do them now because I like how the other ones look. And I'll probably end up having to redo a few because once I kind of get it down a bit, then I'm going to... So, anyway, I did this to myself. So, yeah, this image is now... it went from, I think I'm done, 24 hours ago. Not even. Within less than 24 hours, I had then transitioned to, nope, I still have a ton of work to do. So, and I'm probably going to end up doing the face. Because if I'm doing it on those, I think it'll look good to do it on, like on the... Or wait, you can't see it because I'm on a hidden layer. So I'm like, oh, well, I mean, if I'm going to do it on the cables, well, then I should, do it on the face so that the face has to... It's just going to take this. It's not done. It's not done. I'm not complaining. Honestly, I'm not. I'm joke complaining. I'm really not, because, and this is not to make this suddenly into a heavy stream or anything, but there was a pretty serious car accident within, I want to say 15 minutes of our house 3 or 4 days ago. Young kid, somebody plowed into this kid. This kid was in a coma and had parts of his anatomy pulverized. Now, I think he's going to be fine. I mean, relatively fine. But I'm like, you know what? I have use of my hands. I am able to draw. Maybe I should just shut up about the fact that this is going to be a lot of work. Maybe it's time to just shut up. By the way, I just saw that I accidentally put a thing here. So I'm complaining, but I'm not really complaining, because one of the things that I do truly fear, really, is a car accident where I lose my hand. Because that's it. I mean, I could probably learn to draw with my left hand, but the years it would take me to get anywhere near the precision with my left hand, because I'm right-handed. One thing, when people talk about wishes, one of my wishes would be to be equally ambidextrous. I would like to be able to use both hands equally, because then, I mean, I could lose both hands in an accident, I suppose, but at least I would have a backup hand for drawing. Right now, I don't. If my right hand goes, yeah, well, that's what it is, right? It's very easy. It's one thing I really try to, I'm not big into mindfulness, stuff like that. It's not really my thing, but I do try to have some form of perspective on things and try to remember that, hey, don't get me wrong, I have my bad days just like everybody does, but I'm pretty lucky in a lot of ways, so I try to hold on to that stuff. So when I'm sitting here complaining about the amount of work I'm going to have to do, I'm really not complaining, because, hey, I can do it. I am privileged to own an iPad Pro to start with. Forget everything else. That I can have one of these devices, which is like Star Trek technology compared to what I grew up with, number one, and that I have the ability to even do something like this. So basically, I'm sorry, telling myself to shut up. But when I first realized that, I did have this moment where I sat back in my chair and I went, oh boy, I just added a lot of time to this image. But, whatever. Like I said, I'm not really complaining. Not really. Because it's not like I don't have fun doing this, I must admit. So that will be most of this stream, is just me starting this. Not starting, continuing this. And then the other part of it is then I'm going to have to go in and I have to erase the outside parts of this, because the way this image is, I can't really do it with Photoshop. I have to do it manually. So then I have to come in and I have to erase. That line did not get as dark as it should have. The only other thing is I don't quite have the pressure sensitivity down with the Apple Pencil, because I don't really usually need it with the images I make, so I'm a little bit off with it. I'm not worried about it being overly consistent, but it has to, look has to still show up. I can't, if I do it with my finger. Oh, you know what? Yeah, the problem is with my finger, I can't really see it well. The tip of the pencil is very good for following these lines. I know there's a way to turn off pressure sensitivity, but I don't know if I want to necessarily. I don't know. What does this do? What does that do? Oh, no, stop! Ah, I don't know what I did there. But actually, I wonder if I should just disable pressure sensitivity. Let's try this. You know, I know you can, so I don't know if I should just do that. Where are these settings? Preferences, maybe? Okay, here we go. Pressure and smoothing. Pressure and smoothing, stabilization. At pressure sensitivity. None. Okay. Is there a way to just turn it off entirely? Dynamic brush scale. No, I guess not. Or I'm missing it. Oh, here we go. Apple Pencil. No, it's not. A finger will always smudge. Apple Pencil will always smudge. Wow, weird. Tap. No, these are all off. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing. General, maybe it's in general. Nail painting with finger, rotate. No. At least if it is, I don't know where it is, so I'll just say done. All right, it's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. It's what it is. It's okay. It's fine. I know there is a way to turn it off. It may be in a system setting. It may be somewhere else. I'm not gonna do it on the stream. I'm not gonna sit here for 20 minutes trying to figure it out. I'm just gonna keep going. But yeah, that's the only thing is I still don't quite have the command of pressure sensitivity. Now, the plus side of not really having pressure sensitivity down is it will ensure that all these are slightly different. So there's going to be some variety in the image, which I suppose is a good thing to have. Yeah. Yep, there we go. And yeah, so it's not entirely a bad thing. It just see, like I need to start outside the line so that I get the sensitivity running. There we go. But yeah, if I could just set a consistent thing, which I know to some degree is probably antithetical to the idea of an airbrush where you want to have the variation. But for me, the reason I'm using this is because I want that soft edge. So the pressure sensitivity is less important to me on this, but you know. It's fine. I'm just trying to make sure I get all the way to the end of the line without doing something like that. But I could probably just fill that in a bit. Yeah, I can finesse that. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. It'll look good once it. I mean, it doesn't look good like this because it's in black and white, so it sort of looks weird. But it will end up benefiting the image. So yeah, I'm gonna do it on most of the thicker cables, and then I will probably put in a. Just to give you an idea of what it'll look like. I think how many layers do I even have left? I've already, this image, version 4 or 5, whatever we're on, I've already combined layers to give myself, I have no layers available. Yeah. I've had to combine a bunch of layers, and I can on this one because, yeah, you know what? This can combine down, so I can give myself one more layer. What I'm probably going to end up doing is putting a... No, it's not. I know how to do it. I'm going to determine what my top level... that's not... Okay. I'm going to determine my top level cables, which actually, you know what? Maybe it'll be those. Because I've kind of already done it, and they're already in the right spot. So I would put a layer here, and I would do a fill, and then drop this down... So that, see how those will fade more into the background, so maybe at 25%. And that will keep those, see, it's going to fade them in the back. And it kind of dulls them down a little bit. So just as an interesting, that's the difference. Just to kind of give a little bit of depth to it. Maybe I won't even have it that much. Maybe I should drop it to 15. I don't know if 25 is too much. Let's take a look. Yeah, maybe 15 is better. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then that's where... If the cables are flat, I don't think it works as well as the cables being kind of slightly rounded. See that? I think that's going to work. That's my idea at the moment. We'll see. Obviously, everything is all things subject to change. So we'll see. But that's my plan at the moment. And actually, I should probably turn off the black layer so I can actually see what I'm doing better. Yeah, I don't need the black layer. In fact, I'm going to label that, though. Where is that layer? I just turned it off. So I'm going to call this black. I'm just call it blacks because that's what they are. They're just stark blacks that go in there. And there you go. Okay. That way I don't accidentally start filling things in incorrectly. Okay, where is this? This is, so we're going to call this, rename shading layer 1. Because I probably will need a few of these. And actually, at this point, I'm not going to, I don't think I'm going to change these. So I should probably start combining some of these other ones too. What is this one? What is layer 49? It's a oh, an empty layer. I just gained back a layer. Thank you. Empty layer. All right. Good. That saves me having to combine anything. All right. On we go. Okay, so we're going to do this one now. Oh, let me turn off the face colors. I don't need face colors. Boom. Actually, let me turn the wire colors on and then turn the whole thing off. No, not that. This. Turn the whole color layer off. Easier, more efficient. Okay, here we go. So now I'm on the right layer. Yes. Let's keep going here. Chatting a lot. Too much John, not enough drawn. Ah, see that? I worked that out. You probably could hear me working that out in my head as being quote unquote funny as I did it. But yes, I did this morning. That's too thick. That other layer is too thick. I did this morning just as something because I was just kind of interested in what it would look like. And I know in the back of my mind there was a part that went, you know, the problem is if you like the way this looks, you're not going to have to do it. But like I said, that's okay. In the end, it'll be worth it for the image. It'll make the image worth it. So that's really what the goal should be is. And I do think I will just make myself stop after this, because that's the other danger, is overworking it. There is a danger of that. You can put too much into something. And I've talked about this before. There is a danger in overdoing an image. And so I really feel like this is where it needs to be done with. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a minute, because this is interesting. Okay, Faint Waves, you're still there, right? Why does this say concurrent viewers 0? I don't know what that means. Yeah, so it should say concurrent viewers 1. All right, whatever. Okay. I sort of appreciate the fact that both Twitch and YouTube don't seem to be able to report back their statistics correctly if you're using anything other than their dedicated platforms. There is a part of me that has a bit of respect for that. So, you know, that's what it is. Why is that stupid? Oh, this doesn't. There we go. Doesn't really matter, but it's not doing anything except sitting up at the top of the image. All right, so that's still streaming. Oh, wait, I got to go back though because the chat window disappeared. Okay, got it. Okay. Anyway, all right, let's keep going here. So, yeah, this will be the end of my alterations to this. Also, partially because I've actually had a couple of people say, wow, you know, can I buy that on something? And I've said, well, not yet. So I want to be able to actually put it on stuff. You know, I've probably talked about this before on the stream, but it really bums me out how many, not me, but I've talked to other people who have like shops and stuff, and just merch just doesn't do well. And it's such a bummer that stuff that people take a lot of effort to make doesn't tend to sell. It's too bad. Whoa, that line looks way too thick. Why is that like that? Hold on, I gotta clean this up. I mean, I think the only exception to that, is that really just the same? That doesn't look right to me. Hold on. Yeah, it's because it's not. Look at that. I doubled the line. Huh. How did I manage that? Right there. That's where I did it. Okay. I'll get rid of that. The only exception to that seems to be, and probably because they do limited runs, is people who sell cassette tapes. Cassette tapes, well, those are selling. But people who make shirts and stuff like that, you know, some of them do. Like big names, of course, always do, but I've talked to people who are like smaller independent creators, and they take all this time. No, that's not right. And they put a lot of time and effort into these different merch items, stickers, stuff like that, and they just don't sell. Which is a bummer to me, because I like that stuff. I really do. I love the idea of, I like people's merch and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I go on to Etsy. Ooh, I had up to that point. I was doing well. I go on to Etsy and browse through stickers all the time. All the time. I love a good sticker. Ah, man, I keep losing it on that curve. Hold on, I'm not going to talk for a minute because I think it's because I'm talking. Just a second. Just guide this through. Just keep going. Keep going. All right, I think I got it this time. I got it, I think. Yes, got it. So yeah, people, the merch stuff doesn't do well. It's a real bummer. At least to me it is. Like I said, I like that stuff. I like when people have those things in their stores. I think it's neat to have physical stuff. Okay, that looks way too dark. Why does this look so dark to me? Yeah, because I am making it darker. Yeah, I was worried I was going to do that. I've made it too dark. Did I do something? No, it's the same layer. Man, I made them too dark. Maybe not. Maybe they're not too dark. Maybe it'll be all right. I mean, I guess they could be different darknesses too. You know, part of it is probably because I've got this thing zoomed out a lot, and I'm probably not seeing the actual shading of it as well as I think I am. Where it's showing up more than I think it is, so I think it's too light, but it's really not. Hold on, let me just round this out. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to mind that some of them are darker. And that's also me looking at it like this. I don't think it's going to be as big a deal once the color's in there and everything. I don't think it's going to matter as much. I have a hunch. But yeah, like I said, I like physical stuff. I like shirts. I like mugs. I've talked about this before. I have a real thing for coffee mugs. Way too many coffee mugs. And the thing is, I'm always looking at more. Even though I will never need another coffee mug in my life. Even if I broke a coffee mug every day of the week, I would never need another coffee mug. It's so ridiculous. But I'm a sucker for them when they're designed well. I just like well-designed coffee mugs. I don't know why. You know, I don't get it, but I just really do enjoy them. Even if it is silly how many of them I have. Okay, boy, I've got that just right. I've got that just right. See, I'm trying to lighten it a little bit so that it looks like the top ones are intentionally lighter and then the bottom ones got darker, like I did it on purpose. Which, if you're watching the stream, I didn't. It's just an accident. Okay, so that's the first round. Oh, no. Yeah. Wait, let me look at the color. Let me... Okay, if I remember correctly... Yeah, so those blue ones are also going to be... Okay, got it. That's what I thought. So this one also needs to be shaded. But we'll go light with it. Or not, apparently. Jeez. Yeah, I must be subliminally pushing down on this pencil because I don't see it well enough. I'm thinking I have to do more, and I'm just going to try to keep the pressure light and even because it really doesn't need to be all that heavy. Just subtly trace it. That's also like a thin spot to do it on. That's okay. I got it. All right, let's do some erasure here. Have it on the paint. Yes. So get rid of these. It's like a reason to turn the colors off so I can actually see what I'm doing. I gotta be careful in here though because this stuff all gets mixed together. I don't know if Faint Waves, if you are a Marvel Animation fan and have watched the X-Men 97 series, but I have, and it's quite good. I am really actually happy that they managed to recapture a lot of what made that original animated series work. It feels like a very, very accurate, or faithful, I guess I should say. Faithful is the right word. Faithful sequel. Really, it's a sequel. It's a direct sequel. I was going to say reboot, but that's not accurate. It is not a reboot. It is a continuation. Follow-up, whatever. Yeah, I wasn't sure. A lot of times when they try to recapture the... actually, what I think is, and I will probably, so Faint Waves, you will probably hear this exact opinion on my 5 and the full show where I talk about the cartoon. So be prepared to hear this ahead of time and hear it again. One thing that I have noticed is, especially with DC and the way they approach the Batman animated stuff, the stuff that came after the original animated series, because I think it's not unreasonable to say that Batman the animated series really revolutionized animation and paved the way for a lot of everything that came after it. It's the way it handled the animation quality, the fact that it took the material seriously. It wasn't talking down to the viewers. It respected the source material, created really, really beautifully, specifically unique versions of villains. I love the animated Two-Face, because Two-Face is my favorite villain from Batman. And I really loved what they did with that character in the cartoon. I thought that was so exceptionally well done. Not only in terms of the look, which I think is just a beautiful look. I mean, converting a comic book... There's something wrong with that line. I gotta look here. Something's cutting into the circuit. Hold on, I'm just gonna fix... There it is, right there. Taking a... I know they did their best to capture the anime. I'm reading this because it's not on the screen. So Faint Wave says, I know they did their best to capture the animation style, but something about it looks a bit off to me, just a bit too plasticine, like a fan animation. Other than that, I can't say much about it since I haven't checked it out yet. Maybe it looks better in action. Yeah, I had the same concerns. Now, let me just make sure that I'm not in any way misleading anybody. It does look... It just enough gives away that it's modern. I guess that's the way to say it. So that you know it's not, say, that they had actually done this back in the original run and they had shelved it and never aired it. Now they're airing it. You know what I mean? You're not going to be fooled. It definitely has touches of modern animation to it. And some of the way it moves gives away that it's a current animated show. But I do think that it looks a lot better and functions a lot better than I expected it to. I wouldn't say that it will not fool anyone. Again, if you were to have somebody, if you'd only just seen the original series last week in preparation and watched it, and then watched this one, you will see a difference. Now, I have not watched the original animated series. I mean, the last time I did a run of that show, gotta be 10 years ago. Has to be. I've seen bits and pieces, of course, clips that people post and stuff like that in the memes. Like the Wolverine meme where he's looking at the picture. Of course, I've seen that. But I haven't actually watched the show front to back. I was going to do it before this one, and then I thought, you know what? I really don't need to. I remember enough of the show. And I was actually worried that that might color my reaction to this one. And maybe, again, to somebody who is a diehard fan and revisits it often, those people might not necessarily like this as much as I did. But I got to tell you, I think that in ways that most other revisits to classic series don't manage to do it right, this one does it right. Not going to tell you it's flawless. Not going to tell you that you're not going to notice some things. But I think that most people, and the reaction has generally seemed from what I've read, most people really are enjoying it. Not everybody. There are some people who have that reaction that say, "Oh, yeah, it's not as good as," which I agree. It's not as good as the old one. It's very difficult to recapture that stuff. And as much as they may want to mimic the old style of animation, they're not going to, because it's, I'm guessing, more expensive to do it the way they used to do it as opposed to now. So, but I think it is, I think about how often DC went back to Batman. Like when they did The Batman, and they did like the new Batman event. Well, New Batman Adventures was okay, I guess. But they tried all these different attempts at doing a modernized Batman animated series. And honestly, the only one I ever liked that I thought outside the original run that actually worked was Batman Brave and the Bold, because it was not trying in almost any way to mimic the original Batman the animated series. Batman Brave and the Bold was going into the Adam West vein of Batman, which normally I don't really care for, but I did love it in animation. I thought Batman the Brave and the Bold was phenomenally good. I really enjoyed that series. And that's the only time I think that DC has gone back to Batman, animated-wise, and made it work. Every other time I've seen them do it, I have not liked it. Whereas this, I think this is clearly a product of people who understood why people liked the original X-Men run. And I think for me that overcomes any of its issues. Is I don't feel like this is a cynical, well, people will just come to it because it's X-Men again. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like they really wanted to keep stories and try to tell stories that maybe they couldn't have gotten away with in the 90s. Maybe ones that Marvel would have balked at, or that they thought maybe weren't as acceptable for people. So there's that end of it too. So I'm gonna stick with it. The first 2 episodes are out, and then I think it's weekly now after the first 2. And I think at least at least based on the initial ones, I really liked what they're doing. I'm not going to give away too much in case people don't want to be spoiled. I know that. I mean, by the time the non-live version of this comes out, it won't matter anymore. But just for your sake, Faint Waves, I won't spoil anything for you. And just on the off chance anybody joins and I happen to miss it, the live stream, I mean, I was pretty impressed, because I thought it would be something where I was going to go, well, it's okay. That's the most I expected out of it, because again, I'm used to what DC tried to do with Batman, and I think a lot of the time, I'm not going to say it was bad. It wasn't unwatchable or anything like that, but I didn't think it was good. I didn't think it was anywhere near as effective as the original Batman stuff. It just was not. And I just kind of got used to that when these properties would get revisited. It's like, oh, okay, well, you know, I guess. But, you know, I mean, technically it's Batman, but I did not like the Batman. I didn't think that was I didn't like that. I mean, Batman Beyond would be the exception, but that was right at that same time period. So that's different, because that was when the people who were making good Batman were in control still. So I don't count Batman Beyond, because it was basically the same people doing a different version of Batman. That's okay. But, you know, everything else they tried, and I think there's other ones I'm not even, I think there was another Batman animated reattempt thing that I didn't like. I just can't remember what it's called. In fact, there's probably several. And like the Batman, yeah, I didn't like the Batman at all. I didn't like the way they redesigned the characters. It just wasn't for me. Whatever, I'm sure it has its fans. Like everything. If you like it, that's fine. I didn't care for it. So I didn't know how Marvel, and plus DC, to be honest, we've talked about this on the main show several times. The funny part is, up until very recently, I feel like Marvel understood what worked on the big screen, and DC understood what worked on the small screen. And so they operated in these 2 different spheres, where each one was able to do different things with different levels of success. And now Marvel, you know, DC just seems to be in this weird in-between period, I guess, because they're shifting. You know, now James Gunn's got it, and they're kind of moving a lot of things around. But DC just feels kind of inert. Marvel has its own problems, don't get me wrong. Marvel has the opposite problem. Too many successes all looking the same. And now they're trying to figure out how they can keep interest high in an oversaturated space. So both studios, or both publishing houses, I don't know what both multimedia juggernauts are struggling with different problems at the moment, which is interesting. And I don't know which one's going to get it right. I mean, to some degree, I'm always curious where DC's going to end up, because even now, where they just seem to be, not able to get it, because I know Aquaman 2 didn't do well, Shazam 2 I don't think did well. I mean, they're all having the same problem, really, which is kind of a superhero fatigue thing. But DC might, with its back to the wall, do more interesting things, because, they just are seen as a continual second fiddle. And when you're stuck in that position, you start to take risks at some point, because why not? You're already seen as trailing the big dog on the scene, which would be Marvel. But when you see any weakness, well, that's when you have to experiment. So we'll see. That might be what James Gunn... I still have my doubts about James Gunn really turning things around, but I'll be happy to be wrong. I like DC characters. I'd like to see some good DC movies. DC used to make my favorite... Well, I mean, they still are my favorites, but DC used to be where Marvel is to some degree. I mean, you look at Superman, Batman. These movies were known for being really exciting entries in the superhero genre, and then just somewhere, I don't know what happened. They have great characters. It's not that they don't have good comic book characters to call upon. Batman alone has a rogues gallery that most comic book hero writers would kill for, because there's such variety, not only in the backstories and personalities, but the visual designs. I mean, one of the reasons the Batman animated series is so powerful is because Batman has such a great rogues gallery. Like I said, there are few characters in comics, period, that have a rogues gallery to rival Batman's. It is, when you step back and look at it, it is mind-blowing how powerful Batman's villain options are. You can write so many different stories. You can write action stories, you can write psychological stories, you can jump everywhere with that character, because you virtually have a perfect fit for any story you want to write. And a lot of that comes from the fact that Batman is a human character who, has certainly at times, let's say, superhuman luck in some of his things being able to pan out the way they do. So, Batman takes an impressive amount of punishment, and training can only explain so much of that, let's be honest. But that also allows you to really play around with the character and the villains. So, yeah, anyway, this ends up me talking about how much Batman's great, is when I was talking about the X-Men. So yeah, I like the X-Men 97 thing. I know the first 2 seasons are basically done, even though they fired the showrunner, because, I don't know, there's some stuff going on there, which doesn't really matter to me as the viewer, because, the shows are done. So we'll see if they're going to... I think a 3rd season was either already been written or was actually in production. I'm not sure which. So I don't know what the status of that is going to be, but whatever, they'll figure it out. You know what I got to do? I just realized I got this doesn't look right. Well, actually, hold on, let me turn the colors on. I don't know if those cables are too dark. I have a hunch they are, so what I'm going to have to do is duplicate the shading layer, turn this one off. All right, we're going to do something here. I'm going to erase everything that's not those. I don't like how much darker they are. I just don't. I thought I might be able to just live with it, but I can't. So we're going to just erase all this out, which is fine. This is no problem. Okay, let me make sure I got it all. No, I didn't get it all. Hold on. I think I got it all now. Okay. Now let's switch to this shading layer. And now I'm going to do the opposite, which is to get rid of all the dark stuff. Carefully, though, so I don't edge into the lighter stuff. There we are. And then I'm just going to fade it out a little bit, and then that'll be fine. So if I do that, now if I bring this one back in and I just fade it down a little bit so that it matches better. Maybe 50%. Wow, yeah, it's going to be a 50% on it, isn't it? It really is. Look at that. Huh. Okay, now if I merge that down. Ah, perfect. We're good. That's that. So now I'm going to drop this way down so I don't screw myself later with that. Okay. Yep, we're good. We're good. We're good. So anyway, yeah, I like it. I like it. And I'm hoping it stays as good as it is right now. If it does, I will be very pleased because, like I said, a lot of these times when they go back to revisit these properties, it's not always successful. Many of them have been like, okay, well, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but we probably could have done without it. I don't know if that's worse. I don't know. Train wrecks are sometimes more interesting than getting to the end of something and saying, well, yeah, I could have done without it. Right? I don't know. To me, I kind of am more fascinated by the huge swings and misses as opposed to the, you know, forgettables. It's not exactly great either. But X-Men 97 so far. Doing all right. Doing all right. What are we at here? We're at about 46 minutes. Okay. Yep. So we'll wrap this up shortly because my iPad is starting to heat up because I had it running for a little bit. Was sitting here waiting for me to get everything set, and because I make sure the screen doesn't turn off, because otherwise it can shut off in midstream if I start going on a rant about something, and then it disconnects, and it's not fun when it does that to get it reconnected. So it's easier for me to just turn off the whole thing where the screen shuts itself off. So that's good for streaming, not so good for keeping the iPad from heating up. It tends to get a little warm when I do that, but like I said, it's fine. You know, I've seemed to have solved whatever the weird thing was that was making my computer go to sleep. So that's a plus, because that was getting on my nerves pretty good for a while there, but that appears to have been solved. So I'm happy about that. The stream, for whatever reason now, OBS, maybe because of this plugin I'm using to be able to run 2 streams simultaneously, OBS now, whenever I shut it off or close it, even though I'm closing it properly, it insists that it closed improperly. So it gets very angry at me. And it says, oh, I didn't close normally. You want me to run in safe mode? And every single time I say, no, just open up like you did before. And every single time it opens up and it's fine. But I'm guessing that's got to be the plugin, because that's the only thing I've really changed about it is the plugin to run the 2 streams, which I'm very, very grateful to the... Who was the person who wrote this? The author's name is Sorayuki. I'm assuming that's a programmer name and not a real name, but it could be a first or last name. I don't know. I guess it could be a first and last name combined. In any event, whatever it is, thank you, Sorayuki, because this is a very, very free, easy... it's not very free. It's either free or it's not. This is a free plugin that was very easy for even me to figure out how to use until I tried to add a 3rd stream. But honestly, whatever. I'm doing 2 simultaneous streams. It's not costing me anything. I'm not using a service. I am not complaining. Thank you very much, Sorayuki, for writing this, because it is working. As the British would say, it is working a treat. And I am not going to complain about not having a 3rd service, because honestly, you know what? 2 is enough. I am going to try to figure out a single URL. I think I'll just build a landing page on my site so I can just put one link out there, which will be something like, ozoneartfoundry.com/stream. And then it will just have 2 options there, and that way people don't have to decide between the links or try to figure that out, because I know that's kind of annoying and I don't really love it either. So I will probably put that into place tomorrow, because I want to do one more stream, make sure it works. And it is working. This is working. We're at 49 minutes and it has not wrecked or frozen. It's only using 10% of CPU, and it appears to still be dual streaming, which is pretty impressive. I'm happy with that. Only 10% CPU utilization? Beats the old days when I was using the Twitch beta thing and it was spiking to 100 out of nowhere and just crashing the stream for no reason. So we're doing well here. We are doing well. I am not complaining. Again, I'm pointing out all the ways this thing is working, which are great, because I wasn't sure that this dual streaming thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, free plugins are great when they work, but they don't always work, and people sometimes stop maintaining them, and you don't know if they're going to still work. This appears to be working very well. Hopefully an OBS update doesn't break it, but it's working now. So, wow, yeah, it's really starting to get warm on my finger. So, I think I'm going to stop here because it's warming up, and I can actually feel like between the friction of me using my finger for this, because the Apple Pencil, I don't like doing the erasure with the Apple Pencil. So between the friction and the heat of the screen, I think it's time to stop. So, plus it's 50 minutes, so I'm happy. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to disconnect my thing here. There we are. So thank you for stopping by. I'm glad this is working. That's great. So thanks for stopping by my little stream. Faint Waves, thank you for coming by and helping me test the chat thing to make sure it's working. And on that note, go experience creativity somewhere else. You don't have to just do it here. You can go find another channel where somebody's drawing or making music or doing something. So go do that. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your evening or morning or afternoon or whatever it is for you. And whether you're watching live or later, I appreciate you coming by. And until the next stream, I did not stream on Tuesday because I had something going on this week, and I might not either next week, but I will be going to a probably twice a week stream, Tuesdays, Thursdays. I think that's my plan. So I will be doing that, but I want to make sure I do it at least once this week. So thank you for stopping by. Go experience some creativity. It's good for you. And until the next stream, I was going to say I'll see you then, but until... Is that filling the screen? Oh, whatever. I'll fix that later. Anyway, I'm not going to get hung up on it. It's working. Until next time, until the next stream, thanks for stopping by. Take care.